When was the last time you picked up an English book and thought, this is it, I'm going to read this whole thing? Only to flip a few pages, feel overwhelmed by unfamiliar words, and close it thinking, maybe English book just aren't for me. If that's you, trust me, you're not alone. I've been there too. And English wasn't my first language. And the idea of reading an entire book in English used to terrify me. It felt like a marathon I wasn't trained for, but it is possible. It doesn't have to feel like a chore or an English test. By the end of this video, you'll feel ready to pick up an English book and actually enjoy it. So, let's dive right into it. Why are we so afraid of reading English books? First, let's talk about the fear. Why is it so hard to start? For most of us, the fear comes from this little monster called perfectionism. You open a book, see words you don't know, and immediately feel like you're not good enough. You might think, what's the point if I don't understand every word? Or maybe you feel intimidated by how big books are. You look at that 300-page book and think, am I really going to finish this before the next century? And then there's a silent killer, comparing yourself to others. You hear people say, things like, oh, I read Harry Potter in English when I was 12. And suddenly you feel like you're running a race you didn't even sign up for. But let me tell you something, none of that matters. Reading is not a competition or a race to perfection. It's a personal journey. Focus on your pace, your progress, and your story. Start small, start simple. You don't need to start with Shakespeare or Jane Austen to become a good English reader. In fact, I wouldn't recommend it. When I started reading in English, I went back to my childhood favorite, Matilda by Roald Dahl. I had read it a million times in my first language, so I already knew the story. The familiarity made it easier to focus on the English without feeling lost. So, pick something you already love. Maybe it's a book you read in your own language. Maybe it's a simple story with short chapters. Or maybe it's even a children's book. And don't you dare think, but children's books are for kids. Trust me. Many of them are perfect for building confidence. And if books still feel too daunting, start with short stories or articles. There's no shame in starting small. Remember, it's not about where you begin, it's about building momentum. Forget about translating every word. Let's talk about the big mistakes we all make trying to translate everything. Imagine this, you're reading a sentence and you see one word you don't know. You stop, look it up, and by the time you return to the page, you've forgotten what the sentence was about. Sound familiar? Here's what you need to do instead. Focus on context. Most of the time, you can guess the meaning of a word just by looking at the other words. And even if you don't guess it perfectly, that's okay. Keep reading. The more you see that word in different contexts, the clearer its meaning will become. Think of it like watching a movie. When you watch a film in English, you don't pause every second to check the subtitle, right? You go with the flow and somehow you understand the story. Reading works the same way. My personal reading ritual. Let me share something personal with you. My reading ritual. Whenever I start a new English book, I follow a few simple steps. I choose the right time and place. For me, that's usually in the evening with a cup of tea in hand and no distractions around. It's my little escape from the world, a cozy moment just for myself. And I read out loud when I can. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should shout like a theater actor rehearsing for a play. I keep it natural, just loud enough for me to hear. It might sound funny, but this habit helps me connect with the story, improve my pronunciation, and makes the whole experience more engaging. And I don't set crazy goals. I tell myself just one chapter today or even just 2 pages today. That's it. No pressure to finish the whole book in 1 week or something. Sometimes, though, I like to set slightly strange goals like reading until the first multiple of 5. For example, if I start at page 13, I'll stop at 15. Don't ask me why, it's just a quick little game I play to stay motivated. You can try this too. Create a reading environment that feels comfortable and relaxing. Treat it like self-care, not homework. Progress over perfection. One of the best lessons I've learned is this. It's okay to read slowly. When I first started reading English books, I'd spend weeks on a single novel. But here's the thing, every page I read, every sentence I understood, they were progress. And over time, it got easier. Think of reading like learning to swim. At first, you're splashing around, struggling to stay afloat. But with practice, you stop overthinking every stroke. You start to glide. So, don't rush. Celebrate the small wins. Even if you only read 5 pages today, that's 5 more pages than yesterday. A friendly reminder. I have a playlist for you. If you're looking for book reviews or book recommendations or need more guidance, I've got you covered. I have a playlist called Books and Beyond with book reviews, tips, and all things reading related. So be sure to check it out. A little humor for the road. Okay, let's lighten things up a bit. The first time I tried to read an English book, I chose Paradise Lost by John Milton. And don't ask me why. I thought, how hard can it be? Well, let's just say I didn't make it past the first lines. I kept thinking, is this even English or ancient code? But back then, it taught me an important lesson. Choose books that match your current level, not your, your dream level. Actually, I've been thinking about making a video on what books are great for each English CFR level from A1 to C2. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. And if you're watching this sometimes far in the future, who knows, maybe I've already made the video, and you can find the link in the description. The real secret to loving English books. When you find a book you love, something magical happens. The language barriers start to fade, and you lose yourself in the story. You're no longer just reading in English, you're living the words. And the more you read, the more confident you'll become. Not just in your English, but in yourself. Ready to start? So, here's your challenge. Pick one English book today. Just one. Don't overthink it. It could be something you've been meaning to read or something completely new. And when you start, remember this. You're not just reading words on a page. You're taking a step towards something bigger, towards confidence, towards a new version of you. So don't be afraid. Start small, focus on context, celebrate progress, and most importantly, have fun with it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out my Books and Beyond playlist, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.